my friends, I'm getting ready to talk a little bit about the flamingos that we're rearing, or that they're rearing, and how they're coming along. And we even have a special guest coming up. Here we go.
Hi. So as you can see, we've got a very feisty young flamingo here with us. This is one of our Caribbean flamingos that hatched earlier this summer. So you can see it doesn't look like much of a baby anymore. The thing that distinguishes it the most is the coloring. It's still mostly gray, but you can see on its wings here it's starting to get some of that pink coloration. Flamingos get that coloration from the food that they eat. In the wild, they'll be eating crustaceans and types of algae that have pigments called carotenoids in them. So here at the zoo, we feed them a special pelleted diet that contains those same pigments. So that's how we're able to keep them pink in our care. The other thing you can see is that the beak has completely changed shape. If you've been following us for the last couple months, the little baby flamingos, they come out with a completely straight beak because they're being fed by their parents from above. But as they become adults and start eating their own food, they get this downturned shape to their bill, because in the wild they put their head upside down like this and then filter out the water with the food in it. Yes.
So how much longer do you think it'll be before it's completely pink? It's lost all those babies.
So it takes them a couple years to get to their full adult coloration. So they'll stay mostly gray like this, then they'll turn kind of a lighter gray, whitish color, and then they'll get their pink color. So like our chicks from last year, you can mostly tell that they're still chicks. They've got a few flecks of gray, but they've started turning more pink than this. And their legs stay dark for most of that time as well, and then they eventually turn pink like the rest of their bodies.
And then also those feet.
Yes.
Feet are amazing. And they use those to kind of stomp and stir stuff up in the water, don't they?
Yes, so they have these webbed feet, so that obviously helps when they're swimming, like a duck's foot would. It also helps them to walk on soft surfaces like mud, since they live in areas like mud flats and lagoons. And then, yeah, they will use those feet when they're feeding. They'll kind of do a little tippy-tap in the water, stir up the sediment, and then they'll be able to filter out whatever food items. They do a little tippy-tap.
I love it. That was very cute.
Yes, and when we feed our flamingos in here sometimes, if we like toss food in the water, they'll still do that. That's kind of an innate behavior. Even though they don't need to do it, they will do it.
And when they were still on exhibit, I would tell the kids that would come to see us, if they were quiet, little trick I worked in the Navy, if they were quiet, they could actually hear them sort of seining the water through their bill, kind of snapping to get it to go through. And I mean, kind of using their bill like a little spaghetti strainer to catch the yummy stuff.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to see unless you're really close, but they have ridges on the inside of their bill there. Those are called lamellae, and what they do is that they'll push their tongue up against the roof of their mouth really fast, and that's what makes that sound, and that pushes the water out, and then any solid things will get caught in those, and then they can swallow them down. So he looks like he might be a little uncomfortable. That's just because we don't have them in hand very often. For all he knows, we're a predator that's about to eat him. So we keep contact like this kind of to a minimum. For the most part, they stay with their group. It's also important that we have them in big groups like this. With all of our chicks for this year, we are officially up to 120 flamingos in our flock. And believe it or not, that's a small flock compared to in the wild. They can live in the hundreds of thousands to the millions in the wild. So they're very comfortable with a lot of other birds. So that's why it's important in zoos to keep them in flocks like this.
What is your guys', I mean, obviously you're not in there hand feeding them. What is your role day to day right now with them?
So day to day, we go in there and we do feed them. We don't hand feed them, but we have big buckets of food that we bring in, and we'll keep some in the buckets. We might toss them in the water for them so they can do that filter feeding. We keep their water clean, so we drain it and clean it out and then refill it. We wet down the dirt that's in there so that they have softer surfaces to walk on. And then we just make sure that everybody's growing up good, everybody's getting along with each other, that sort of thing. They're usually pretty good about getting along since they're used to living in big flocks like this.
And so as far as maintaining health, is it more of a visual checkup that you do on them now at this point?
Right now, yes, because again, there's young birds in there. We try to keep contact with them to more of a minimum. When we do have them in hands, a lot of times we'll have the vets come and look at them. They'll look at their feet, look at their beaks, their wings, make sure everything looks good. They might draw blood on them and do blood work for them. But as a zookeeper, you need to be really attuned to how your animals behave, because if something seems off, that probably means something's wrong, especially in birds. Birds are very good at hiding sickness and injuries, so we have to be very in tune on how they usually act, so that if they're acting out of the ordinary, we know that we need to intervene.
Absolutely. Well, I don't want to stress this bird out, and so if you guys want to go ahead and take him back, that'd be great. And I do have to apologize to everybody that is viewing today. I was told to hold the tablet opposite of the way I'm holding it, and I'd be able to see your comments, and I totally forgot, so I did not hold it correctly. So if you had great comments, I'm sorry that I didn't see them. Next time I will take that advice and do it correctly. So until next time, everybody, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again soon.